What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioWatch 3 Raw TV. Today we're going to make a reply video. Not a reply. This is I saw a video and I disagree, so I'm making this video to CJ Woodruff from Price Supply. You guys know who he is. We've had back and forth things before. And this thing says, do not compete in bodybuilding, number 6. I think that means it's vlog number 6, whatever. And we're just going to jump into this right now. So CJ talked about the movie called The Perfect Physique, which I have seen. Aaron and I watched it one night. I found it interesting. Now, CJ was like blown away. He was like shocked by like, oh my God, like when they open their mouths and I can't believe, just be a physique. Like, no offense, CJ, but you kind of sound like a little bit of a girl. Like, just be a pretty face. I want to look at you. I don't really want to know more about you. Like, that sounds a little weird, but it is what it is. I get what you're saying. Like, you want to look up to the physiques, and if the guys are assholes, you don't want to look to them. Well, maybe just don't put anybody on a pedestal. Don't idolize anybody. Say, hey, the physique's good, whatever it is, and worry more about yourself rather than worrying about how they are, because it doesn't fucking matter. Like, if their physique inspires you, who gives a fuck what they think, what they do, what they say? It doesn't fucking matter. But myself being around these guys and knowing these guys, they're just fucking real in this thing, you know. And TJ Hilburn put out his opinion about competing, and you know, he called himself a control freak, and you know, he was saying, well, he doesn't compete because he doesn't want to leave his destiny in the hand of the judges. You know, like that was his big thing. And I get that. That's TJ's thing. Well, not everybody has that pretty face like TJ. Or when TJ was coming up, you know, there wasn't a lot of these fitness models like there is now. Like back then, you know, it was all big, jacked up, bloated fucking bodybuilders, and bodybuilding was the thing. There was no physique. So TJ kind of made a mark in that industry, kind of like Greg Plitt did, of not being the jacked up guys. There was only a few of those guys around while they were doing that. And that's how TJ built his name. Guess what? This fucking industry now, those guys are a dime a fucking dozen. You better have something besides a pretty face to be able to stamp on your fucking brand to make you stand out. And some of the time that is competing, especially if you do these big shows. Like the physique guys, the classic physique guys, those guys are getting contracts. Those guys are getting people paying attention to them. Like, and they start out by fucking competing. Like these guys that, you know, basically don't compete, that just have great physiques, people wonder, you know, they wonder like, well, if you're such a great physique, why haven't you gotten on stage? Because a lot of these guys with great physiques on Instagram and shit, you see them in person, you're like, dude, what the fuck? They Photoshop the fuck out of their pictures, right? They do all these types of fucking like manipulation to these pictures with lighting and all kinds of random shit. They take 30 pictures to get the right one and the right angle with the right lighting and shit. Like, it's not fucking real life. I'll tell you what, if you're the type of person that has a great physique and you think you're the fucking bomb, get on a fucking stage and you'll be humbled as fuck. Either you're gonna win and feel good about yourself and still be humble because you're like, look, I really did it. I took my fucking balls out of my pocket and I got on stage. Or you're gonna get on stage and get your fucking doors blown off, and that's gonna fucking put you right in your fucking place, and you will be humble, okay? Now, that being said, TJ's thing was he doesn't like to compete, and TJ and CJ, that's kind of fucked up. CJ was like, if you're on the fence, you know, I like urge you not to compete. I am gonna go the exact fucking opposite way. Here's the thing. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck how much you like fitness. I don't give a fuck how cool you think you are, how badass you think you are. Do a fucking show. Actually get into fucking show shape. Put that destination, that fucking day, that date on the fucking calendar. And as that creeps up, watch what happens to your body, to your mind, how far you have to fucking dig down. And I'm talking about, you know, I'm gonna just say this out there right now. If you're doing physique, you're not going to have to push yourself as far as you are if you're a fucking classic bodybuilder. If you're a classic bodybuilder, you're not going to have to push yourself as far as fucking bodybuilding. So there is a place everywhere for, depending on how far you want to push yourself, for your needs in competition. Now, there is no other place, okay? Now, I'm not going to, I should take that back. Other than like military boot camp, things that are very self-improvement motivated. Nothing else out there that I have seen, because I didn't go through military boot camp, so that could be similar, so I can't really comment on that. But nothing else out there will make you learn more about yourself, what you've made of, what you're made of, how tough you are, and what you can fucking take, than if you do that fucking 18-week diet and get ready for that show and wind up on that fucking stage. There is nothing, and I mean fucking nothing. There isn't a single person that I know in 25 years that did a show that was like, that was the worst mistake I ever fucking made. I fucking hated it. There's some people that don't necessarily enjoy it because they don't want to strip down and get on stage. But every single person throughout the years has said, you know what, I don't think I'll do it again because it's really not for me, but I learned a lot. That is the exact fucking words that come out of their mouth every single fucking time. When you got that show coming up, right, and your family's gonna be there and your friends are gonna be there, it doesn't matter whether you fucking win or lose. All that matters is you get on that fucking stage in the best shape that you can get it. That's what's important, right? and everybody's fucking counting on you. The people at the gym know you're doing it and they're watching you. That puts a lot of stress on you, right? That puts a lot of pressure on you. Now you can't just quit. You can't slack off. You can't be fucking stupid about it, right? Where a lot of people in their lives, you know, I get people all the time like, well, I'm not going to diet for a competition. I'm going to diet for a certain look. Good luck with that shit. You're never going to attain that fucking look. I'm telling you right now, because you will never dig down deep enough unless that fucking date is on the calendar and you're running out of time and the sense of urgency is there to get your ass in fucking shape and push harder. As the show comes up, you're pushing harder, pushing harder, pushing harder. You're feeling worse. You're feeling worse. You're getting more depleted, more depleted, more depleted. And by the time you get to that show, you're going to feel worse than you ever felt in your fucking life. On the day of the show, you may have a fucking headache. Maybe you have fucking blurred vision. There's all kinds of shit that goes on. But I'll tell you what. That moment when you fucking stand on stage, there isn't a fucking feeling that is more gratifying than that. And I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a shit. If you think that fucking it's not a big deal and you're just into fitness, that's fine. But if you really want to learn something about yourself and you're thinking about competing, do it. Absolutely fucking do it. I did it for years and years and years, and people may make fun of me, but then they come to me and they say, well, Jerry, how did you get to where you are now? How are you doing what you're doing now? How do you keep up with that work ethic, only sleeping 3 hours a night? How do you do this? How do you do this? How the fuck do you think I did it? Competing year after fucking year after fucking year, and you're feeling like absolute shit. You're foggy from the low carb. You're depleted. You feel like a fucking piece of shit. I was still working 4 jobs at one time, sleeping 2 hours a fucking night, hopping on that fucking stage and competing. And over that time, you become conditioned. Like anything else, if you go to boot camp, you're conditioned. When you get out for the military, you're conditioned. If you go to, pre-camp for football, then you're going to be fucking conditioned by the time you get to fucking the season. You condition yourself mentally and physically, and you learn what your body's capable of. You learn what your mind is capable of, and you will attain things with your mind you never thought you could. And when it's all said and done, it's over, and you take that contest prep out of it, you literally learn that everything else around you is fucking easier. You're going to work, it's easy because you're not contest prepping anymore. You have a cold, it doesn't even stop you from doing shit anymore. You're not going to lay in bed for fucking 2 days. You know why? Because you got your ass to the gym when you were fucking contest prepping and had a cold. Everything seems, because you're conditioned. You're conditioned for worse conditions now, and now the conditions are better afterwards, and you learn, fuck, I'm way tougher than I thought. When I was younger, I'd fucking stay home when I was sick. Fuck, when I was younger, if I didn't feel like doing cardio, I wouldn't fucking do it. Now you get up in the morning, it's automatic, you go do it, you feel great afterwards. Like, everything gets better. And, I watched the thing where, TJ Hoberhan says, like, well, it's not a real sport. It's like a sport that's like, it's just opinions, right? It's all relative. It's like what the judges, and they may have different opinions, and it's not really a sport. Here's the thing. Those referees, right, that throw the flags to football game, it's up to their judgment. They have bad calls all the fucking time. They miss calls all the time. That's their fucking judgment, whether or not they throw a fucking flag. Like all the time people go, the commentators, it's a close one. I could have gone either way. That referee's decision to throw up the fucking flag and call the fucking play and call the penalty, that was subjective. That fucking individual saw what he thought was the fucking whatever was going on. He made the fucking call. He tells the fucking head ref, the ref fucking announces that they give the penalty. That shit is subjective. How many fucking times did we watch people go, oh, it's a bad call here, it's a bad call there. Oh, thank God, they're not calling anything. That's subjective. That's up to them. When they see something happen, if they don't think it's a fucking call, they don't call it. You could sit there all fucking day long. The person playing football in the game could sit there all day long and think it's a call, that it's a fucking illegal, it's a foul. And what happens? The judges don't think it is. The referees don't think it is. Therefore, their subjectiveness runs that piece of the fucking sport. Yes, you have your metrics, which are your scoring, and you can measure that. But here's the deal. You ain't gonna fucking score if they keep fucking calling penalties on you because they keep seeing a certain way. The subjectivity is in every fucking sport like that, right? It just fucking blows my mind that, like, I don't know, bodybuilding got a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths because they can't fucking hack it. And I know, I went through 25 fucking years of competing on stage, and people called me stupid, but you know what? Every single time I learned something. Every single time it hardened me up. Every single time I learned that I was tougher than I was the time before, because this sport doesn't get easier as you get better at it, right? When you get better at it, it gets harder. So you start at the local level, it's a certain difficulty, right? You get to the regional level, it gets even fucking harder. The more you do it, the fucking harder it gets. You get to the national level, it's even fucking harder. You get to the pro level, it's even fucking harder. The higher you go up the ladder, it's not like you get better and easier at it. You get better at it by working harder, and you go up that fucking scale. And many people cannot fucking handle that. They don't have the endurance to fucking stick it out 5, 6, 7, 8 years. That's why a lot of these competitors that walk on stage and they're into it, they don't have the passion for it. How do you know if you have the passion for it? You have to fucking try it. Listening to someone like CJ say, oh, you just don't do it because I don't think you should. No offense, CJ, but I've been in this industry a lot fucking longer, and I've seen a lot more positive coming out of people getting on stage. Matter of fact, I'd have to say it's 95% positive reactions of people getting on stage and 5% negative, which makes me go 95% to 5%, get on fucking stage. You know, we saw a girl at the last show, she was part of the show, and there was her and another girl in the class, right? And she walked on stage, and she could tell that she probably lost a lot of weight, but she was still probably 50 pounds overweight. But you could tell she lost a lot of weight, and she was very nervous. And she got on the stage, and this was probably a bucket list thing for her, right? She was shitting bricks. She was shaking. She was trying to smile, and she walked on stage, and all of us at the judging table, she got a standing ovation for getting on that fucking stage. She conquered her fucking fears, got on that stage. She got a trophy, and she knew she wasn't going to beat the other girl, right? The other girl, very graceful in victory, turned to her, shook her hand, hugged her, and they talked on stage for a minute. And it was like, holy fuck, this girl just did something that most of these people in this crowd could never do. Most of the people watching this video would never do. She conquered her fears. She took it by the fucking throat and conquered her fears. To me, you can't get much more ballsy than that. You can't get much more brave than that. God damn, that's fucking amazing. So guys, understand, like, there are people that are not going to leave it up to judges because it's a subjective sport. Well, guess what? Your boss, whether or not he gives you that fucking raise, is subjective. Okay? Whether or not the police gives you a goddamn fucking ticket is subjective. Newsflash, subjectivity is all over your fucking life. And if you're going to apply it to this, you can't walk around the rest of your life fucking applying it. You got to fucking deal with it. At least this you have control over. This you can say, look, I'm going to this fucking show. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it my all. Wherever I place, because you can't, you know, and like as far as the subjectivity of the judges, you have 7 judges, right? The reason why you have 7 judges, you have the 5 main ones that they're actually going to keep the scores, and the high and the low score, because literally one judge could be like, oh, she's number 1, and she really was like fucking 8th. The high and the low scores are dropped, and that average is how you get it. So it actually is a lot more fair than people think. Like, one judge can't sway the whole fucking panel. Actually, 2 judges couldn't sway the whole fucking panel, nor can the head judge. I don't know where people get this from. Like, each judge has their fucking say, and we have guidelines. We're told fucking guidelines. And the problem is, people on stage and the people in the crowd sometimes don't like our guidelines. We tell them what we want them to look like, and when they come in not looking like it, they don't place that well. And then, oh, well, you know, their judges are assholes, it's politics, it's this, it's that. Look, we give you fucking guidelines. Matter of fact, we constantly give you guidelines in the Mid-Atlantic zone. We have meetings before the shows to give you guidelines. We have meetings all throughout the year. We put out fucking emails. We put out shit all over the place that tells you what we are looking for. So subjective? No, come in with what the fuck you're supposed to look like. Okay, it's like us telling a football player, make sure you come to practice with a fucking football. He shows up with a fucking basketball. That's not subjective. That's not on the fucking coaches. That's on the fucking player not paying attention, which happens 9 out of 10 times with this shit. And it's fucking sickening that they don't fucking listen. And here's the thing. Maybe you don't want to listen. Maybe you just want to present a package that we don't like and you're happy with it. That's fine. But those people don't fucking complain. They go, look, I did my best. I brought my best package. I'm happy, right? So like, yeah, there's some negativity, but goddamn, there's negativity in every single fucking industry, every single business, every single fucking job, every single fucking family in the entire fucking world. I have no idea why the fuck CJ would point at this and go, oh, I'm so disappointed, I'm this, I'm that. CJ, newsflash, you're in the fucking fitness industry. If you're figuring this out now, I don't know how long you've been here, what the fuck? You're figuring out now that these guys have misinformation, this, that. Who the fuck said that these guys in physique are like the brightest guys in the fucking goddamn world? Nobody. They're regurgitating, they're giving information that has worked for them. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong according to you and like whatever you read in your science studies and stuff, but these motherfuckers are the best in the world and they're doing it. So bottom line is, I'll be honest with you, if you're going to listen to these guys, you're probably going to, because I've listened to some of them, okay, and I've got farther listening to Kevin Levrone, Phil Herning, fucking Brad Hollabaugh. These are guys that were fucking pros that didn't have the science, that didn't know what to fucking say, but they knew what worked from doing it over and over again. And the more I listened to them, the further I got. The less I listened to those fucking research papers and shit, which you're probably going to say these physique guys don't really pay attention to the science. They're blurting out random shit. Newsflash, this industry, to do well in it, has nothing to do with fucking science papers. Has nothing to do with studies. These motherfuckers couldn't recite one single fucking study to you that are the champions across the fucking world. Not one fucking study, nor do they give a fuck. They know what works. And they tell people this is what works. This is what I do. To dog them for that, that's pretty fucked up because it's working for them. So no matter what you think of it, it's fucking working. Period. And you can't argue with that because you've never won a fucking title or anything like that, right? You're not a pro. So you arguing or even saying that these guys are fucking, like, they're stupid, they should just shut up and be seen. Newsflash, every one of these guys has a big following. every one of these guys has helped more people than you have, CJ. Like, I'm really upset about this because I don't think that you're being fair. And I think that all of a sudden jumping into this because you get a bad taste in your mouth because of something they said, like, what you do in your supplement views, interviews and stuff like that doesn't cross over to what these motherfuckers do on stage. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Okay? It's completely fucking different. And you watched a movie about these guys and what they do at the fucking elite level. And then here you are, who's never even entered any of that level, trying to talk shit about them and tell them, or tell people they shouldn't listen to them, they shouldn't compete. It's like, what the fuck? You're involved in the fitness industry, right? A huge part of the fitness industry is the NPC and the IFBB. Without those, there is no fucking supplement industry. You're not selling a fucking thing and making a dime. So for you to sit there and say, don't compete, it's like, so you don't trust the industry you're in? You think the fitness industry, which is based on these competitions, without these competitions, there's no fucking expos. No expos, no fucking supplements being sold. Without these fucking people in the magazines and on Instagram, people are not buying the supplements to look like them. So basically, you're out of business if these motherfuckers shut up. Why the fuck would you want to do that? Just my 2 cents, guys. BioStrengthTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostrength.com is the blog. It's a fucking check it out, bicep. That's my opinion, and we are out. All relative.